Salvete omnes. This is Abbey Latin Liber Primus, chapter 4. This is exercise E of chapter 4, parsing English sentences into Latin. As a quick review on parsing, parsing means to give the parts. We are dissecting each word as we come across them in order to read. So how do we read? We start on the left with the first word, and we parse or read each word as one encounters them. So when parsing an English noun, you are to give that noun's reason. Reason in English is derived mostly from the noun's placement in the sentence because English mostly gets its syntax based on word order. Number, that is the number of the noun in sentence, either the singular or plural. So does the noun have an S or an ES or an IES on it? Is it plural or is it singular? The case, the Latin case, this is derived from the noun's reason. So say that you have a noun which is definitely the subject. Well, that's going to be in the nominative case in Latin. If you have a noun that's definitely the direct object of a transitive verb, then you have the accusative case in Latin. And then once you figure all this out, it becomes an easy declining exercise when you give the equivalent Latin dictionary entry. You just decline the noun. When parsing a verb, you are to give the person, the number, and the tense of the verb in sentence. And then it becomes an easy conjugating exercise when you give the principal parts, the Latin dictionary entry of that verb. You just conjugate that verb. All right, let's give it a whirl. Number 1, the poets work in the farmhouses, but do not carry grain into the fields. So we have the poets work in the farmhouses. That's going to be the first part. We can actually draw a line right here. But do not carry grain into the fields. I bet they also do not do drapes. So we have the first part of this sentence and the second part. Really, it's like two sentences crammed into one. The poets work in the farmhouses. The poets do not carry grain into the fields. But they're joined together by a joiner, by a conjunction, but, one T. So we'll just work on the first part first. Imagine that. So the poets work in the farmhouses. The verb is work. Who works in the farmhouses? Who does the work? That's going to be the subject, the poets. Poets is plural. It's not poet, one. Poets, plural. There's an S on it. Subject, it's going to translate into the nominative case in Latin, and we want the nominative plural of poeta, I, masculine, poet. And that's going to be poetai. I, arm, is, as, is. So we want poetai. They work in the farmhouses. So work, that's going to be the third person plural because poets is plural and they are third person. They work in the farmhouses. So they work, third plural. Present is the only tense you know of laboro, laborare, laboravi, laboratus, meaning to work. So we want the unt, third plural present ending. OST, mustis, unt. So laborant. Laborant is going to be our verb. In. All right, when you come across in, we'll either show motion in or location. So is this in the farm? Are we going in the farm? That's not motion. Motion would be into the farmhouses, and that would be in the accusative case. But this is in showing location because they are working in. They're not moving out of the farmhouses. They're not moving towards or into the farmhouses. They're already there. They're in the farmhouses. So that's going to be in the ablative of location. So farmhouses, we, la, I, feminine, that's going to be ablative and plural. Ablative plural, in plus the ablative plural. All right, that's the first part. Now the second part, we have a conjunction here, and that's going to be said, S-E-D, but, one T, said conjunction. Do not carry. The subject is the same. The poets are also the subject of this verb. They do this thing, but they do not do this thing. So we're going to have a known, the adverb not. It's an adverb because it goes with the verb. It negates the verb. The verb is carry. So who does not carry? Well, the poets again. So third person plural present of porto, portare, portavi, portatus, to carry. Like laboro, it's going to have that unt ending. This was laborant. This one's going to be portant, portant. Non portant. Said non portant. grain. This is what the poets do not carry. This is the direct object receiving the action of the verb carry, grain. So it's going to be in the accusative case. We want the accusative singular of frumentum e neuter grain. And hey, it's right there. It's going to be frumentum because it's neuter, second declension neuter. E o, a orum is a is. So second declension neuter, ending can be either nominative or accusative. This is definitely going to be the accusative because it is the direct object. So frumentum. Into. All right, check out the difference between into versus in. The poets are in, already there, located in the farmhouses, but they don't want to carry that grain into the field. So this is going to be in, showing motion, moving into the fields. That's going to be in the accusative case. So we want the accusative, motion towards, plural of ager, agri, masculine, field. So ager, agri, the genitive singular ends in an I, so it's going to be second declension. Chop off that I to get the stem. So ager, agri, agro, agrum, agro, agri, agrorum, agris, agros, agris. We want in agros. Poetae in vilis laborant, sed frumentum in agros non portant. Poetae in vilis laborant, sed frumentum in agros non portant. And just like in algebra class, once you solve for x, you can check your work. You can plug whatever you got for x back into the original equation and see if you got it right. So you can parse the Latin that you wrote down. Does it give you the same answer as that? Nominative, plural subject, poets, they are working in the farmhouses. This is plural ablative location, but conjunction, yes, frumentum, accusative singular, direct object, neuter, in plus the accusative motion towards into the fields, known adverb going with the verb portant, verb plural. Yes, this equals that. Check plus. Well done. 2. The boys are walking with girls. The boys are walking with girls. So the verb are walking, the verb phrase, are is a helping verb, helping the verb walking. Who's walking? That's the boys. So boys, nominative, plural, masculine of puer, pueri, masculine, because it's going to be the subject. Subject equals nominative in Latin. So we want the nominative plural, puer, pueri. It's a second declension, so give it second declension endings. Us, e, o, e, orum, is, os, is. So puer, pueri, puero, puerum, puero, pueri, puerorum, pueris, pueros, pueris. We want pueri. They are walking. The boys are walking. They are walking. Third person plural, unt ending, present tense of ambulo, ambulare, ambulavi, ambulatus. So ambulant. With the girls, cum plus this noun, so ablative of accompaniment, cum plus the ablative of puella I feminine girl. So puella, puellae, puellae, puellam, puella, puellae, puellarum, puellis, puellas, puellis, cum puellis. So pueri, cum puellis, ambulant. Pueri, cum puellis, ambulant. Or you could say cum puellis pueri ambulant. 3. The provinces are in Europe. So are, linking verb, linking the subject with this predicate. So we have provinces are. Where are the provinces? They are in Europe. This is going to be an ablative of location. So provinces, provincia I feminine, plural. It's going to be the subject, so nominative. We want the nominative of provincia I feminine. That's going to be provinciae. Are, that's just sunt, the third plural of sum esse fui futurus. Remember, that present tense is irregular. It is sum es est, sumus estis sunt. There it is, sunt. Provinciae sunt. In will take the accusative to show motion into. and in will take the ablative to show location in. Here we have ablative location in. The ablative singular of Europa, I feminine, is Europa, with macron over the final A. So, provinciae sunt in Europa. Provinciae sunt in Europa. Sentence 4. The men are sailing to Africa. The men are sailing to Africa. Who's sailing? That would be the men, so they're the subject. Plural, men is the plural of man, and we want the plural, we want the nominative because it's the subject. Nominative plural of wir, viri, masculine. So wir, viri, that's a second declension masculine. Wir, viri, viro, virum, viro, viri, virorum, viris, viros, viris. So we want viri. They are sailing, present tense. They are sailing to Africa, the men. So third plural und, present tense of navigo, navigare, navigavi, navigatus. So to sail, they sail. Navigant, navigant. To, so we're going to, towards somewhere. That's going to be ad, ad, plus the accusative motion towards. The accusative singular of Africa, I feminine, is Africam. Africa, Africae, Africae, Africam, Africa. So ad Africam. Viri ad Africam navigant. Viri ad Africam navigant. Or we could say ad Africam viri navigant. Sentence 5. The farmers are carrying water to the fields with their sons. So the farmers, they're the ones doing the action of the verb, meaning the farmers are the subject. There's plural, more than one of them. That's going to translate to the nominative case, and we want the nominative plural of agricola, I, masculine, and that will be agricolae. They are doing this action, this verb, they are carrying. They are carrying, third person plural und, ost mustis und, third plural und, present tense of porto, portare, portavi, portatus, so portant, portant, agricolae, portant. What are they carrying? What object? What noun? And that would be the water. The water is receiving the action of the carrying. That makes the water the direct object, singular. It's going to be the accusative case in Latin. The accusative singular of water, of aqua, I feminine, is going to be aquam, aquam. So agricolae, portant, aquam, to the fields. This is the motion towards, the direction in which they are taking this direct object, this water. So they are carrying the water to the fields. So ad, ad, plus the accusative motion towards, fields. Ager, agri, masculine, plural. So we want agros, ad agros. With their sons. So this is in the company of their sons, alongside their sons. The subjects are doing this alongside their sons. This is ablative of accompaniment. So the preposition cum, which means with, plus the ablative sons. You want the ablative of filius, e masculine, filius, filii, filio, filium, filio, filii, filiorum, filiis, filios, filiis. We want cum filiis. That's the second declension, masculine. 6. We are sailing from Italy. Actually, let's get a better translation for that. So the agricolae aquam ad agros. Actually, let's put the with their sons. Agricolae cum filiis aquam ad agros portant. That sounds better. So agricolae cum filiis aquam ad agros portant. Portant. All right, now let's move on. I got a little excited. So we are sailing from Italy. That's what we're doing right now. We, first person plural, we, the ending of the verb will be mus, M-U-S. So we are sailing of navigo, navigare, navigavi, navigatus. So navigamos, navigamos from Italy. We're not going towards Italy. We're not in Italy. We are moving away from Italy. Ablative of separation, away from Italy. So we are going ab. From Italia, I, feminine. So ab, A-B, give it that B because Italia starts with a vowel, starts with an I. So ab Italia with a macron over the final A. So ab Italia navigamos. Ab Italia navigamos. Sentence 7. The boys and the girls are calling the farmers out of the fields. So we have two subjects here. We have the boys and the girls joined by a conjunction, a joiner. So boys, subject 1, nominative plural of puer, pueri, masculine. That's going to be pueri. And that's going to be et, conjunction et. And the girls are also doing the action of calling alongside the boys. So girls, puellai, feminine. Girls, we want the nominative subject, and that's going to be puellai. So pueri et puellai, they are calling the farmers, are calling. So they are calling, third plural unt, ost, mustis unt, present tense of woco, vocare, vocavi, vocatus. So wocant, wocant, pueri et puellai. If you were paying attention in exercise D video, you could say pueri puellaique. Hey, fancy, pueri puellaique. You can use que, tack it onto the end of girls, and that puts the and before the word girls when we translate it in English. So you could say pueri et puellai, pueri puellaique. They wocant are calling. Whom are they calling? What object? What noun? The farmers. Direct object of this verb. So direct object's accusative case, plural. Farmers is plural of farmer. And we want the accusative plural of agricolai, masculine, farmers, that is agricolas, agricolas. And we're calling them out of the fields, out of the fields. So this is a prepositional phrase. We're moving out of the fields, away from the fields. We're in the fields and we're moving out of them. So x, the letter E, or we can add the x if the next word starts with a vowel, and it does. Ager, agri, masculine. We want the ablative because it's ax plus the ablative of separation. So fields, plural. So ager, agri, agro, agrum, agro, agri, agrorum, agris, agros, agris. There we go. Ex agris, ex agris. So pueri et puellai, agricolas ex agris vocant. Pueri et puellai, agricolas ex agris vocant. All right, moving along. This is pod racing. All right, the god carries the girl from Europe. So carries is the verb. Who carries? The god carries. So god, nominative, singular, masculine, because he's the subject. Singular masculine of deus e masculine. And that's just going to be deus. Carries, the third person singular, because he carries, third person singular, so we want the T ending, OST, mustisunt, of porto, portare, portavi, portatus. So we want portat, portat, deus portat. Carries the girl, so the girl is the direct object receiving the action of the verb, carries. Sounds like a Europa story again. So girl, puellai, feminine, girl. Direct object, accusative, singular, so puellam, puellam, deus portat puellam, from Europe. Hey, plot twist, he actually took her home. They just went on a date, and then he took her home. He was very nice, he was kind. From Europe, from Europe. So we're moving away from Europe. So this is ablative of separation, away from Europe. So we want a preposition showing from, that's ab. We'll put the B ob if the next word starts with a vowel, and it kind of does. Europa, EU, Europa. So ab Europa, Europa, I feminine. We want the macron over the final A because we want the ablative of separation. Deus puellam ab Europa portat. Deus puellam ab Europa portat. Sentence 9. There is a boy in the water. It's kind of weird. I hope someone is there to help him. So there's a boy in the water. So there is existential est. There is a singular nominative subject somewhere. So boy is going to be our subject, going to be in the nominative case. So puer, pueri, masculine, puer. Est puer, there he is, est puer, and where is he? He is in plus the ablative of location. He is located in the water. So we want the ablative singular of aqua, I, feminine. And that's just going to be aqua with the macron over the final A. Est puer in aqua. In aqua est puer. Sentence 10. You are walking out of the country. Right now, that's what you're doing. You are walking out of the country. So you, second person singular, you are doing this verb action. So we want an S on the end of our verb. Ambulo, ambulare, ambulavi, ambulatus. So ambulas, ambulas. Out of the country. You started in the country and you're moving out of it. Ablative of separation. We want a preposition meaning out of. So something like ex. Letter E or X if the next word starts with a vowel. And country, patria, I, feminine. Well, P is a consonant, so we can just use E. E, we want the ablative patria. E patria. Macron over the final A. E patria ambulas. E patria ambulas. All right, optime. Well done. English to Latin can sometimes be tricky. Make sure you practice, make sure you go over how to decline your nouns and conjugate your verbs. Optime, very well done. You are now ready for the next chapter. Valete omnes.